I was gonna ask, what kind of street fights were we talking about? Like, was it gang related in Huntington Beach? Like, was it just like?
Well, there was a point from 6 to about 12 and a half that I lived in Santa Ana, and there was a lot of fights like that. A lot of just 5-on-5, 10-on-10. There was a lot of those situations. But when I moved back to Huntington when I was 13, my freshman year, sophomore. By the time I got to a junior, my wrestling was really good, so my brothers never messed around with me. But prior to that, every day I would wear like a shirt or something. I get a dead chest. I come home.
Damn.
Downtown Huntington during.
What kind of shirts were you wearing?
I don't know. Back then, what was it? The Ramones or some shirt that he was wearing.
And people would just punch you in the chest?
No. My brother would, for me wearing his shit, he'd get so pissed. He'd beat my ass for wearing his shit. He's like, stop wearing my shit. I was like,
fucking
come on.
Sibling abuse. Sibling abuse is a thing. Would you say it was borderline abuse, or was it straight abuse?
Oh, no, it was straight abuse.
Yeah.
No, I remember them pinning me down on my elbows and doing the spit thing where they go.
That sucks.
Sometimes they suck it up. Sometimes they didn't.
It's terrible.
I remember one time, one of my buddies, not even a buddy, I guess a friend at the time, Boyd Hinkle, he handcuffed me and they beat the fuck out of me.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
There's some brutal things as a kid that I've seen. My children right now, I have twin 13-year-olds. I have a 20-year-old that's ASU wrestling.
Hell yeah.
Nice, man. I'm building men, man. I'm building soldiers for the future.
Yeah.
That's my deal.
You got to be the leaders of the resistance, huh?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm building alpha males, man. It's important to me. Like I said, I'm building my soldiers. These are my kids, who love this country, who work hard in school. They open doors for women. They say thank you. They say please. Just respect values that a lot of children have lost now because the parents can't be present with their kids because they're working so hard to pay the bills, to pay the cell phone, pay their kids' cell phone. Like my twins who are 13, they've never had a cell phone. They literally just got a cell phone. The only time they can use it is when we call them.
I was thinking that if I had a child, which hopefully I don't, but if I did, I mean, flip phone until college, right?
No, I'm actually, Stephen Jobs said until age of 14 years old.
Steve Jobs, the inventor of the iPhone.
So he said 14, beginning of high school, you can give them a supercomputer in their hand.
Yeah, because prior to that, there's too much information logged into their memory that should not be.
Right.
It's just access that makes it too easy because then you need actually your child to understand to look things up. Then all of a sudden, instead of hitting Google and there's your answer, boom. That's wrong. That's not how I was growing up. I mean, I was growing up on a different level. To me, of my parents weren't really there, so I kind of had to survive for myself. I mean, this was from 7 all the way till my freshman year, where actually my mom got remarried and had a father that actually cared and cared that I was in before the lights were on. And I went through that all the way up to 7, but my mother and father got into heroin and my father chose heroin over me type of thing. So my story is really interesting because I could have been a victim or I could have been a victor, and I chose to be a victor every single time. I don't want anything for free. I don't ask people for anything. I'd work my ass off to get what I want, and I've always chased this American dream since I can remember. I grew up during the Reagan era, where it was just they said socialism is only a day away. Just watch for the future. And now we look at it and see the things that are happening. It's just the totalitarian that's going on. It's just mind-blowing. I would never think in my lifetime that things would be the way they are right now.
Overboard humor was actually at the Occupy Los Angeles protest about a decade ago. So if you want to look out for socialism, the guy to your right here. Tito, that's not true. Overboard. I don't know what his economic policy is.
For being anti that.
But I wanted to ask, now when you were growing up and you had the decision to make, like you probably were around people getting into drugs. If your parents were into heroin, that was probably available to you. What made you, because, we have a lot of fans. Honestly, we have a lot of fans that are junkies, unfortunately.
You were looking at Dino.
Yeah, well, Dino could be a junkie. We might have to test him. I mean, you look at his size. But I would say, what made you go the direction of, I'm going to make something of myself? Like, was there a mentor? Was there someone that made you, that lit a fire under your ass? Like what made you?
There was a lot of them. I had a lot of them. At a really, really young age, I used to watch professional wrestling, and I watched Hulk Hogan come out saying, say your prayers, take your vitamins, love America.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's what I loved. I can remember like Saturdays and Sundays, I'd be watching that, and all my friends being out and going to play, and I would sit there with my blanket and sit there and watch. I was young. I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There was times that I just, when I was able to be home, that's what I was watching. And so I dreamed of that. Then I watched Muhammad Ali. Watched Muhammad Ali, and it was like, God, one of the greatest boxers ever to grace a ring. And I watched those guys and I was like, how can I find the happy medium with this mixed martial arts? And I was able to do that. You know, a kid from Huntington Beach had flames on his shores, had bleach blonde hair, and it was a gimmick, but I ran with it. It was a Huntington Beach bad boy.